So sharing the live with certain people, Okay, so there are a lot of things going on right now. A lot of things. First, the Ascension. We have to get our shit together. We need to keep our heads together. There are sensitive things that we cannot talk about. Water Bear Medicine made a good point that we need to start doing lives on Telegram. You can look at my bio, and the link to Telegram is there. If there isn't, for some crazy reason, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you can't find it, just message me on any of the videos and I'll respond, or message me privately. Here's what we're going to start doing, because the shit is starting to hit the fan, as you guys know. There are two paths that are splitting. I know you feel it, or else you wouldn't be on this live. Trust me, this live and this pre-recording that's going to come out to you from YouTube, you're listening to this because you're part of the 144,000. I kid you not. This was something I realized a year ago, tearfully, a year and a half ago, tearfully realizing they're not fucking kidding. It's 144 at any given time. When one dies, when one of us dies, it's the number is never diminished. My point is that. Okay. There are things that we need to heal in ourselves. And so Telegram is going to be where we start talking about very sensitive shit that the public, that TikTok will not allow. There's some things I'll be able to do lives on YouTube, which will go under the radar because I'll put it under 18 or over, right? But the more sensitive stuff that needs to be talked about, things about being essayed, things that are fucking up your root chakra, preventing you from ascending, that's going to be on Telegram, because I don't want any bullshit. So it won't be recorded. If you can't make it, you're not going to hear it, because it can't be recorded. Does that make sense? So also, there is this idea that TikTok might be banned, it might be extended, and it's the yo-yo energy that the powers that be in this country have used to give people anxiety. There's something also I want to bring up that I'm going to tell you. Stay the fuck away from Facebook unless you can post important things that you want people to see. And I'll tell you why. Because what Facebook is doing, and I started realizing what they were doing, they're showing a lot of animal abuses that are making people's blood boil. They're fucking losing. It made me lose my mind too, because I love animals. The reason why they're doing that, and it hit me one day like a aha, oh fuck moment. The reason why they're posting a lot of videos on animal abuse, horse abuse, you wouldn't believe the shit, dog abuse, things like that, is because they want your energy to be hijacked. They want you to be mad. They want you to be sad. They want you to be powerless. Hence why Meta, good old Zuckerberg, good old Zuckerberg, lifting weights and doing his $150 million little bunker in Hawaii. You got to understand the mentality of these people. And I don't think most of you really fucking know how nefarious and deep this shit goes. But they're posting certain things that will make you angry. Now, what happened with some of the wars that you have witnessed and some of the bullshit that you've witnessed in certain parts of the world, I think you know what I'm talking about, was there to siphon energy because there are certain nefarious forces that get a rush out of despair, fear, pain, anger, powerlessness. They get a rush. It's like, for them, it's a corrupted B12 shot. But our business, Mark at Water Bear Medicine and Baron at the Feeling Terror, and other people that we're going to start bringing in, like we have a twin ray couple, a power couple that travels all over America to move grids, to work with ley lines and crystal sacred geometry. Okay. And they do this. And I was also given an aha moment to start doing that in certain parts of the world. Okay, certain parts of the world. With satellites, they have seen pyramids in the ocean, in the bottom floor of the ocean. They have not revealed that to us. Why? I don't fucking know. I think you can guess. So moving forward, we're going to do Peter Pan bullshit on TikTok to keep the algorithm happy. And we're gonna and most of the shit we're gonna do, the heavy content that's gonna help you dislodge from your negativity and your cemented root chakra, sacral and Harat chakra, aka the womb chakra, that has been kept you in jail, in an emotional jail, in a jail that keeps you feeling unworthy of your ascension, and you looking back and constantly looking back. And there are many, many stories from the Greek mythology to the Old Testament about don't fucking look back. Don't fucking look back. Why? Because you can't help them from a 3D level. You have to reach the pinnacles of 5, 6D, and then you can do the work. Then and only then can you do the work. Do you understand? And so I need you to understand that moving forward, you're not going to have the little beautiful art. You're not going to have any of that shit. But you're going to have real content that's going to help you to ascend your bullshit. My bullshit. I need it too. Okay? I need it as well. I'm dealing with some root chakra issues that are finally hitting me. Thank God. I'm grateful for it. It needed to happen because I've held space for a lot of people. This is what I do. And it's interesting because in me watching myself implode the calcification of my root chakra, my womb chakra, and so forth, it's making me much more powerful, and it's actually helping me get massive downloads, aka signs from my guides, and high guidance on what to do with my own meditations and recalibrating the crystal grid lines across this planet. Right now it's this planet that I'm looking at, and I'll tell you why. Because of the pyramids that are all over the world. All right? And because of that, there's some things that some of us who are how do I put that without sounding like an asshole, arrogant asshole? There's some of us who are called to it because we know we've been there. We used to do this work in the ancient realms, in the various crystalline caves and pyramids that were created. There's a lot more than you know, and I know you know that already. People are banging around with the flat earth theory instead of talking about real shit. How the earth is built doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what we do with the earth we have. What we can't see through mortal eyes. There's a lot of things. This is science. There's a lot of colors we don't see. There's a lot of sounds we don't hear because we are in the density of we don't see. There's a lot of sounds we don't hear because we are in the density of 3D. It's not a joke. It's serious shit. And the nefarious agendas of the 1% that actually took power in a visceral way, in an overt way, which no one saw, but it was front and center, was, I'm going to say, the Catholic Church. It went from ancient pagan demands that began with the Abrahamic religions, I'm just saying it, and then filtered through into a more denser energy that was a clunky foot to your throat type of energy for centuries, generations, and you've incarnated in many bloodlines that encompassed that trauma individually and collectively and so forth. Some of you have tasted the nectar of freedom, being part of the indigenous people that roamed freely on these lands, in many lands, Africa, the Americas, Asia, and so forth. And so the nectar of those moments still resonates within the deepest core of your being, and you know that this system is wrong. But for us to have deep healing conversations that are worthy of your time, we have to pull out of this venue and move a lot of the... So I will advertise. Okay, I will advertise. I'll let you know, hey, we're going to be on Telegram at 2 o'clock. And the link is in my bio, in my link tree. There's no excuse. If you want to be part of it, be part of it. What I'm noticing with people is everyone's talking about healing and no one's doing a fucking thing to do it. I'm going to tell you something, okay? Straight up. People are saying things like, I really want to heal. I really want to heal. But when there's a meeting, when there's a community, when there's a a day to do something, no one's dropping shit. But I'm going to tell you something. This is an SOS. Because if your Uncle Billy had a heart attack and you loved Uncle Billy, your ass would fucking drop everything to run to ER to be with Uncle Billy. But you're not ERing yourself to your healing. You're not making appointments with yourself to heal yourself. You know you're not. Some of you aren't even meditating every day. Some of you are making excuses saying, well, you know, when the snows melt, when it gets warmer, I'll sit on Pachamama and I'll start. No, you meditate in your car. You meditate on a bus. You meditate at a bus stop. You meditate wherever, however, whenever. But you meditate. Because that's going to recalibrate you. There's a reason why the things we preach, from Andromeda Flame to Mark Water Bear Medicine, to me, to some of my beautiful sisters that I talk to all over the world, there's a reason. And you're not taking it seriously. I know you're not. Some of you meditate every day. Some of you are diligent in your spiritual practice. I'm not talking to you. You know who I'm talking to. So either you want the ascension to happen in this incarnation for you, or you're not fucking serious. It's really that simple. So if I don't resonate with you, which is fine, I'm not for everyone. Okay, I'm like, I was telling a friend of mine, I said to her, you know, people fucking want the cotton candy, rainbow puppies and ponies bullshit. And the ancient teachers, okay, the Shaolin masters, the ancient pagan teachers, the druids, the high priestess, they'd cuff you in the fucking head. They'd cuff you. What the fuck is wrong with you, boy? You know better than that. Run up that hill until you're out of breath. Come back and ask me the question again. You know that's how they taught us. You know that. They didn't fucking give us candy cane popcorn and fucking la la, lulu delulu stories. If we asked I don't think there's ever a stupid question, to be honest with you, but if they felt like it was a question below our intellect, and I mean spiritual intellect, they would have us do shit and then say, ask me again in a week. There's a great story. I'm going to leave you with this story. And it's a story I've told before, but it's one of my favorite stories about Maya. And Maya is the illusion of reality. So there's a young devotee walking by the river with Vishnu, the blue god, right? Vishnu. And Vishnu is having a wonderful conversation. It's one of his favorite devotees. And the devotee says, Vishnu, you know, my obeisance is to you. Could you please tell me, what is Maya? I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand it in my soul, in my blood. I don't understand. What is Maya? And Vishnu looks across the river and he sees a farm. And he says, you see that farm over there? Can you go over there and ask them for a cup of milk? And then come back and I'll explain to you what Maya is. And so the young devotee crosses the river because the river isn't swollen yet. So he's literally crossing a rivulet up to his knee across the river, knocks on the door. An old elderly couple opens the door, and behind them is the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. It's their daughter. And he said, may I have a cup of a cup of milk? And they're so happy to see this young man. They're excited. They haven't seen anyone else but each other for, years. So please come on in. Please let us bring you a cup of milk, and you can bring another cup to your companion. May we prepare you something. He falls in love with the girl. Days turns into years. He's married the girl. The elderly couple has died, rightfully so, cremated with the proper Hindu rites. And she's pregnant with their first child, second child, third child. And one day there's a massive storm, a massive hurricane, a storm that floods the rivers. And he has to make a decision. They have to escape their home. And so he clings to his wife, grabbing her. She clings to her newborn son, and the other two children cling to their parents as they attempt to swim across the river. And one by one, the river, the force of its energy, pulls the baby out of her arms, and she lets go of her beloved husband, and she's gone. And his two children, one by one, gone. And he makes his way to the riverbank. And he is bereft, destroyed, shamed, absolutely imploded. And as he opens his eyes, he sees a pair of blue feet. And his eyes scan the legs, looking up and locking eyes with Vishnu. And Vishnu says, "Did you get my cup of milk?" Many of you won't even understand what I just said. Many of you will not actually understand what the story meant. But that is the essence of our incarnations. We have this die-hard illusions that everything we go through is real. This morning I woke up and my guides gave me this wisdom. They said, "You will die many times. You have died millions of times, and yet you've always survived the experience. You have died many times. You have died millions of times, and yet you have always survived the experience." There are things that we now need to go into depth. Conversations that haven't been had because of the subtle muzzling and overt muzzling of various social media platforms. And so because of that, when I advertise, we're going to be on Telegram. If you really want to heal and to listen and to talk and to interact, or YouTube, you just make time. Make time. You're going to have to make decisions as to what is a priority or not. Because I can tell you that if you have children and the principal called you to say you need to pick up your son and we need a meeting and it needs to happen now, your ass would be in the car to do it. And yet you are not prioritizing yourself in this ER of the Ascension. And you have to make decisions. That's it. Oh, my kids are with me. Let them listen. Or have them color books in the other room with some beautiful high frequency music. And tell them, "Mommy, Daddy needs this time right now." Okay? So you're going to be quiet and you're going to do these coloring books and you're going to listen to beautiful music and you are going to play with your toys if that bores you. But you're going to let Mommy or Daddy do this because this is very important. It's called boundaries. You don't let your kids, create chaos in your life that you can't actually have an hour during the day. Okay? And it's called teaching and guiding your kids to understand your needs so you can be a better parent to them. There are many things that seem stern that I say, but there's a point where, the kumbaya bullshit ends now because there is a scaling up of the dark and the light. And it's happening at an incredible speed. And so things need to actually be light codes need to be dropped into your crown chakra. And sometimes these can happen on your own, and quite often it can happen on your own. But if you're not making time to listen to other people in communities, to listen to things that soothe your soul and gives you a surge of power and irreverence to what frightens you, then you're not going to have the strength and the ability to propel yourself out of this construct into the new earth, which some of you, many of you, will actually be alive to see it. And the problem I see, and I've just felt in the energy, okay, is that many of you can't fathom that shift or change because you have been downtrodden by the brainwashing that this is the only reality that exists. I don't know what it is. There's a part of me that understands it because I've lived it. Like this concept that today will be this way in 10 years. I've always lived in this town. I've always done this. This is how it's always been for my parents and my grandparents. It's worse now for me, but it's always grandparents. It's worse now for me, but it's almost like you can't fathom something magical and absolutely offering a 180 to your current reality into the kind of reality you've only dreamed of. You couldn't even touch with your fingertips. There's a block. And the block comes from multiple things, and ultimately self-worth of one's own power is diluted into nothing. There's a lot going on in individuals who do not and are not able to manifest a new way of living. And it is exhausting. And some of these spiritualists are barely hanging on because it is so exhausting. We don't just do work with clients. We do work on our own on imagining, transmuting, transforming the current Akashic story that so many in the collective want to hold on to. And we are actually hacking through our meditations, visualizations, the new earth. We do that on our own time. And we do it, some of us do it knowing we will never be alive when it actually happens. Okay? And so this is something that, again, you have to make a decision as to what is your priority. What exactly do you want to experience in the last 40 years of your life on this planet, or 20 years or 10 years? How do you want to live it? And that's all up to you. You have power. No one's forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. Somebody said, that's right, I freak out on the death part. Yeah, I know. But yeah, exactly. Jennifer's saying, read The Journey of Souls. Even if she reads The Journey of Souls, which, trust me, it's one of the most important books you'll ever read. Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls. It's what I call primers. Once you read those books, you get a different sense of death. But, you know, like my mom, I've had people on their deathbed, and I've had to remind myself, we've done this before. We came out fine. We're fucking veterans to dying. We're very good at it. We've done it millions of times. It's funny, but it scares the shit out. And it's not so much death that I think people fear, it's pain. And the interesting thing about pain is that at certain points, pain is shut off. It's a mercy that your soul gives you. It's a mercy your guides give you. So that though it may look painful, no pain is felt. Why do I know this? Well, because I remember, I'll give you an example. I remember a person who didn't realize they were in a restaurant. I'll never forget. They worked as a restaurant manager, and they had been robbed. And the person had a little, again, I hate fucking using words like this, a pew-pew, whatever. And he was shot. He didn't fucking know. Swear to God, he did not know. And he was calling the police, and he was closing up and realizing how much money had been taken, and kind of like remembering how much they had taken in for the day, blah, blah, blah. The cops come thinking it's just going to be, a report, this, that, and the other. The guy's bleeding, and then he had no fucking idea. They had to call the ambulance. He had been shot. So you could say cortisol, you could say this, you could say that. Yeah, sure. What it was is he was hyper-focused on the issue at hand to actually survive and to remember what the guy looked like that was taking assaulting him and so forth. And it was all there. It's the weirdest thing. I know that it's really pain that people fear when they die. And the powers that be, the light beings, almost lift you away before the body continues struggling. They lift you away. So you're witnessing your body struggling. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That should give you, I hope, some ease to it. But if nothing else, the ease about death should be that you're fucking veteran. You're really good at it. You've done it multiple ways. Millions of ways have you done it. And you've always survived it. Because here you are in your new body. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I hope the story made sense. It's one of my favorite stories. And I didn't feel my body when I passed. Exactly. Many people don't. Some people do, but it's so, quick. Anyway, sending you much love on your journey. I will post this on, I hope to post this on TikTok, but follow me on YouTube. And yeah, let's do this. Let's win. I mean, you decide. You want to win or you want to do this shit again? It's up to you, okay? You either want to win or you want to fucking do a redo on reincarnation. And usually in reincarnation in 3D, if you want to come back in 3D, ask yourself why. Why? And if you feel like you're not, and be honest, okay? Don't play games like you're trying to be cool for yourself. Don't do that. Talk to yourself with authenticity and raw honesty as to why you think you're not ready not to, return. There's some people who are going to return, trust me, and they fucking should, because they haven't learned shit. Don't get me wrong. Not everyone is going to be able to ascend, okay? Because some people are just straight up assholes, and they need to do this again. I'm sorry. Okay, there's a cruelty in the world run by people where this planet could actually be cruel free, where no one's harming the most vulnerable, be it people, children, or animals, okay? But those people are going to be redoing it in their ignorance, okay, in their Maya. But some of you are good people, and the thing that's going to stop you from ascending is your lack of self-worth. I'm not joking. It's going to be you thinking, oh, I don't know, and I might leave people behind, and or it could be, no, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this again. But your lack of self-worth will keep you bound here. You'll be bound. Or you might actually want to come back because you want to save someone. You can't save someone who doesn't want to save them. Do you understand? Think of a feral person, okay? Because a person who's ignorant in 3D is feral, okay? There's something like, hello, how many movies you have to watch to understand reality is not what you think it is. But they will slap your hands away. You'll say, well, I have water, I have knowledge, I have freedom, I have the nectar of peace, something you've been, wanting your whole life. And here's the path to that. Meditation, transcendental understandings, esoteric conversations, and reading groups, and communities, and all of this, all of what you've wanted. I have it right here. And they will slap your fucking hand away. They will. Because they have to come to that themselves. They have to do it on their own. Just like children don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you see doing. That means you don't tell your kids to meditate. You meditate. You meditate, and they'll ask you what you're doing, and you'll tell them. And one day they'll join you. They'll want to. You can't force people to become enlightened. They have to be so sick of 3D existence and consciousness, so fucking sick of it, that they go, fuck this. I'm out. I'm going to take ayahuasca. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And before TikTok bans me right now, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay? All right. Sending you much love on your journey. I'll see you on, I hope, on Telegram and on YouTube. Namaste. Be well.